Hello, I'm Leyla Najma, and welcome to your Sinuous Arms class. What we're going to be doing today is basic arm work. And the one thing that I think is really important to tell you guys, some boo-boo that I made years ago, was that I did a lot of work on my hips and I didn't do as much on my arms. And what happened was my arms paid the price. So I don't want you guys doing that. So the most important thing for you to know is that your hips have to be a mainstay, a main part of your dancing, but so do your arms. Because if you don't have nice and graceful arms, they'll take away from anything that you do anyways. So the one thing that I noticed when I watched a lot of videos years ago was that I tend to have stiff arms. And the one thing about belly dancing is that it's a storytelling with the body. So you want to make sure that even if you do basic, minimalistic arms, which is my way of dancing, then what you want to do is make sure they're comfortable, that your arms know they have a place in your dance. That's very important. You want to make sure that there's life in your arms, that when you're dancing around, that your arms can kind of tell the story or help keep whatever movement that you're doing, they can frame it and keep it in place. And you can work your arms and tell whatever story it is that you want with whatever part of your body that you want, but your arms don't get in the way. So it's important that when you work with your arms, that you understand that if you're working your hips and you're doing stuff with your hips, whether it's your fast hip work or just your thrusting right to left, that you want your arms placed in a position to where they don't get in the way, because you can't have your arms moving around like this. I don't know if I can even do this. So you want to make sure that your arms don't get in the way. And another thing too, you're going to find that your arms don't go as fast as your hips ever. Now if you're doing a movement with your arms where they're the main part of the story, or say the focal point is your arms, where you're doing something like this, then your body's going to be positioning you to where it's not going to get in the way of your arms. So you're going to be able to take your hands and maybe bring in a part of your body and maybe accent with your hands, and then move your hands in with another body part with your full hips. And then your arms know they have to be to the side. One thing that I did, too, I think it's really important to share with you, is a lot of my movements, especially if I do a movement where I'm doing layering or something like that, I'll have my arms here. And a friend of mine, a mentor, Palomita Ct talked to me about my arms years ago. And she said, if you can see your arms, then you won't forget your arms. And so we did a lot of positioning with my arms, just so I can kind of see how to position and to see them. And so what's important is that when you're dancing is you don't want to forget your arms, because they are just as important as any part of your body when you're performing. And the one thing is that arms really show your comfort level to the audience. So the important thing for you to understand is that your arms have to be worked on immediately from the time you start belly dancing, and it's going to be a lifetime endeavor. You're going to have to work and train with your arms to get them to the point to where they're comfortable with your dancing. So let's get started on the first part of your class.